Okay, now that we have our project up and running, let's actually talk about this app folder. So what's happening here? Well, as you can see, we only have a page.tsx. Now, if you've only done React before and if you haven't done any Next.js, you're gonna see that you can just run the command npm run dev and this is automatically gonna work. So let's go have a look, click there, and let's just put this here so we have it nice and stuck there, okay? And there we go. As you can see, we have this getting rendered out. But how does this work? So Next.js has routing hooked up internally, meaning that like just using plain React, you would have to use something like React Router to essentially, know which component to render based on the URL. However, here it's based on your folder structure. Okay, so here again, we just have a function, right? It's a simple function called home, and we're returning some JSX. All right, hopefully everyone is familiar with this. If you wrote a little bit of React code, you just create you just export the function, return it, and that's that, right? We're not gonna go deep into use client and server components here, but just understand that for now. Okay, but how can I create an additional route? Well, I can just go here and create a new folder. So let's name this about, for example. And again, all it does is it takes a page tsx like this. Okay, we're gonna say export default, same story, function about, where we're gonna return some JSX here. All right, we're gonna keep it nice and simple like that. And that's it. That's all you have to do to be able to go now to /about like that. Now you might be wondering, how do you route backwards from here? Okay, so you can import this link from next link. So rather than using the normal HTML anchor tag, Next.js is going to provide you with a special link tag because it's going to be hooked up to their whole routing system, and it also provides you with special functionality like prefetch. When a link comes into the user's viewport, it will automatically start fetching that route data, so that's pretty cool. So that's it for that. There's just really maybe one or two more special components that Next.js provides you that I can think of. The image one that's really popular that you're going to use. You're not going to use the normal image tag. You're going to use Next.js, which you're going to see it in action soon. So that's it. Let's get back to it. Go back home. Okay, so that's all you need to do. And then when we click here, as you can see, we are back. So that's routing. Now, if you want to do sub routes, works the same way. So you just go here, create a new folder within the about. Let's say this takes, let's say I have a personal page here, right? So I'll do me. And then this one would take in another page.tsx. So we're going to say export default function me. And here we are going to return a div that's going to say me. Okay, same story. Now we can go over to about /me, and that specific page is going to get rendered out. Now, the next episode, I want to specifically just have an episode talking about the page component and like what happens there more specifically. Let's just cover routing a bit for this one. So create a folder, you have your route. You can create subfolders as well in the route, and that is going to get chained together like that. Now, what about dynamic routes? You might have a route here where you're fetching products and it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the ID, right? So let's create a folder called products. Here, you can create a subfolder called brackets like that, like an array, and just say ID or slug or whatever you want to name this. And here, again, I'll just make a page.tsx. Same thing, export default function products. And now here, look, I can access the params. Don't worry too much about the code here. I just want to quickly show you how routing works. I can just return a div here like that. And if I want, I can render out that params ID. Okay, so I'm just getting the params here. I have access to this by default in my page tsx, as long as I'm living under a dynamic folder route here like that. So you can access params and the ID because that's how we named this. As you can see, we named it ID. Okay, so now when we hit refresh here, it says page could not be found. That's because we're not on products. If we go to product /2222, and there we go, we got that specific product. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Now careful, if you just go to products here like that, that's still gonna not give you a page because products folder does not contain a page file, only the slug. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, we're gonna leave it here for now. We're gonna get back to the next episode, talk more about the page component and the layout component. So I'll see you there.